All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the wonderful, wide, and fantastically colorful world of seventh chords. We've been doing a lot of work in triads, your snowmen, your basic three-note chords, and now we're going to add a lot of depth and color and really fantastic sounds to the triads you've been creating already. Adding an interval of a seventh on top of a triad results in a seventh chord, as you can probably figure out easily enough. So there are three basic types of seventh chords that we're going to be using. There are more, but we're going to be only discussing these ones for now. Okay, the first one is the major seventh chord, constructed with a major triad with a major seventh, hence the term major seventh chord. Everything is major. Okay, there are no tricks, nothing weird going on. You have a major triad, C, E, G in this case, with a major interval of a major seventh, C up to B. All right, they sound very sweet and colorful. Okay, so I'm going to play it for you right now. All right, so here's a major seventh in the key of C major as it shows you on the page, C, E, G, B. Okay, you might find it a little bit clashy, but overall it should be a pretty pleasing sound. Okay, this is built, you get a major seventh triad when you use scale degrees 1, 3, 5, 7 of any key. Okay, I can do it in the key of G major. 1, 3, 5, 7 in G major will give me G, B, D, F sharp. Right? In the key of B flat major, I'd have 1, 3, 5, and 7. B flat, D, F, and A. Okay, so a major seven chord is just like that. It's sweet, it's rich in texture, and the notation for it will be, just as you can see here. You either have a triangle, which might look a little weird, or what I prefer is C MAJ7, C major 7. You just spell it out, and that's how you create your notation for your major seventh chord. All right. Okay, moving on. The minor seventh chords are constructed with, just like the title says, minor and minor. Okay, a minor triad and an interval of a minor seventh between the root and the seventh of the chord. Okay. A minor triad sounds kind of like you would expect, a little bit more dark, but it still has a good, full, robust quality to it. Okay, I'll play you what's on the page here. C, E flat, G, B flat will give you this. Okay, certainly a pleasing sound, very rich. Okay, if I did it in the key of D minor, I go up a step, I have D, F, A, and C. Okay, I could do it in any key, really. B minor. Okay, a B minor seventh chord would give me B, D, F sharp, and A. I'd have this. Okay, Queen likes a lot to use a minor seventh chord. That's actually the first chord in Bohemian Rhapsody. Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Etc. All right, moving on. Or sorry, before I move on, a quick little note on the notation. Okay, the minor seventh chord is usually named with a lowercase m and then a 7. Okay, just like this. Just like you would name the triad C with a lowercase m, you just add the number 7. All right. Okay, so that's how you do it. Sometimes you might see people notating the 7 with in superscript. Okay, you might, and this goes for all kinds of seventh chord, major, minor, other kinds. Sometimes they might do this, C, and you might see that. Okay, it's the same thing. It doesn't really make a difference whether it's superscript or not. You're just adding the 7th note above the root of the chord you're playing. All right. Okay, moving on. The dominant 7th chord. Here's where we're going to be doing some mixing. All right, we're constructing a dominant 7th chord with a major triad and a minor 7th. Okay, always represented with just the number 7. An example chord is like that, C7. C7 is a dominant 7th. A7 is a dominant 7th. F sharp 7 is a dominant 7th chord. It's going to be the major chord with a minor 7th interval above the bottom note. So in this case, C to B, so we got a major triad, C, E, G, but a lowered 7th, a B flat in this case. All right, so a dominant 7th chord, again, I'll play the first one that's on the page, the one that's on the page there for you, C, E, G, B flat. So C, E, G, nice happy triad, major triad. When we add that lowered 7th, it creates even more dissonance, okay? All right, I could do these dominant 7th triads built on any note. If I do it on D, I'd have my major triad, D, F sharp, A, and I'd add the lowered 7th, C natural. Okay, let's take B flat. Your major triad on B flat will be B flat, D, F. And my lowered 7th will be, can you find it? Find it, think about it. It'll be the A flat. All right, so B flat, D, F, A flat. Okay, now why do we call these dominant 7th chords? The other two were labeled for perfectly valid reasons. It's a major 7th chord up here because we've got major stuff going on. It's a minor 7th chord here because we've got minor triads and minor 7ths going on. Why do we call this a dominant 7th chord? The reason we call it a dominant 7th chord is because when you play notes that are in the scale, notice how we have a flat symbol here. Okay, in the key of C major, you don't have B flats, so we're using a chromatic note. But these 4 notes, C, E, G, B flat, do exist together within a certain key signature. Okay, think of the word dominant. What does the word dominant mean? Okay, hopefully you'll recall that the word dominant refers to the 5th note of the scale. All right, so because of that, if you think of this triad, or this chord, having been built on the 5th note of the scale, right, do a little bit of math work here with me, C would be the 5th note of what major scale? Well, if you call this scale to be 5, 6, 7 on the line, 8 on the space. This is a dominant 7th triad, a dominant 7th chord of F major. Okay, so if here's my if my tonic is here, if I'm in the key of F major, okay, I have C, E, G, and B flat. I have all these notes in the key of F major. A dominant 7th chord is labeled dominant because it helps to serve the purpose of a dominant chord, which is to return to the tonic. Okay, I'm going to turn on the camera again just so I can show you what I mean. Okay, if I'm working in the key of F major, let me just orient your ears here. I just gave you a 1, 5, 4, 5, 1 to really establish that as your tonic, right? 1, 5, 4, 5, and 1. Okay. Now that your ears are thoroughly locked in on F being the tonic, I'm going to play for you that dominant 7th, okay? I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a 1 chord, a 4 chord, and a 5 chord, and I'm going to add that 7th. Okay? Not only does the leading note, the E, want to move your ears up to the F, your ears naturally want to do this. Slide up to F. Adding this note, the 7th, in your dominant 7th, naturally wants to bring this note down to the A, which, again, if you're looking at the keyboard, think of this as what note in the key of F major? Scale degree 3, which is part of your 1 chord. Right? So, a 1 chord, a 4 chord, a 5 chord, a 5-7 or a dominant 7 really brings your ears back to that one chord. Okay, so that is the purpose of a dominant seventh chord. That's why it's called a dominant seventh, because you often find it built on scale degree 5, right here, scale degree 5 of whatever key you're in. Okay, so if I was playing a dominant seventh chord built on D, right? Right? This would be the dominant seventh chord of, well, if that's 5, G. Okay, so that's how a dominant seventh chord really works. All right, so let's finish off the little lesson on this section here. Okay, there are other types of sevenths as well. They are beyond the scope of this level. There are half diminished seventh chords, and there are other kinds of seventh chords which are just even more bizarre. But these three are the most common, which is why we're going to use them in here. Sevenths are one example of chord extensions. There are many chord extensions which are used extensively in popular and jazz music. These, especially major seventh, minor seventh, dominant seventh chords, are used a lot in jazz music, and as well as other kinds of extensions. You have your basic triad, your 1 3 5, or let me here 1 3 5, C E G, where you add a note. You add the D, scale degree 2, or add the 6, add the A. Okay, there are all kinds of weird and bizarro ways people are adding harmonies. But we're going to stick with major seventh, minor seventh, and dominant seventh chords. Okay, so the bottom of this page and the next page are just practicing those dominant sevenths. Okay, name the following seventh chords using chord symbols above. So in order to do this, you're first going to look at the root of the chord. Okay, so let's do the first one here. Right? Your thought process should be as follows. Well, I see that I have D as the bottom note, so let me think in the key of D major. All right, I'm going to pencil in my key signature. I know that D major has 2 sharps. Oops. Oh, come on now. Let's go, pen. 2 sharps, F and C. Okay. Now I have to figure out what qualities of things that I have going on. What kind of triad do I have? What kind of seventh do I have? All right. Do I have a triad that agrees with the key signature? D fits in a D major scale. Let me write that down as well. D. We're in the key of D major. Okay. D fits within the key of D major, of course. F sharp fits within the key signature of D major because I see the F sharp in my key signature. A is part of my scale. So I have a major triad. That's major. What about my seventh? Is it major, minor? Is it something else? What's going on? Well, here I have what kind of C? It's a C natural. But I should have C sharps, right? This C natural has been lowered out of the key signature, which means this is an interval of a minor seventh. A minor seventh, so a seventh chord that has a major triad and a minor seventh, if you look above in the gray area, you can see that it gives you a dominant 7 chord. So I'm going to go D7, right? Because that's what they ask you to do. Chord symbols above, yeah. Okay. So your symbols, your chord symbols are always going to be one of these 3 things. It's going to be the letter with MAJ7 or M7 or just 7 for dominant. Okay, those are the only 3 answers you need to put down here in the bottom for all of these. Right? Don't worry about Roman numerals underneath. They didn't ask you to do any of that stuff. Just give me the chord symbol above. All right. You can pause the video now and do those before we move on to the next page. The next page is really just practice using these 7th chords. All right, so on this page, we're just working with 7th chords in different ways. We have 3 basic types: major 7th, minor 7th, dominant 7th. And you know what they are, what's involved in each of them, okay? When you need to add the correct 7th on top of the triad below to form the named chord. All right, so to pick one, let's go with, I don't know, D. We just did the one in D from last page. Let's go with G7. In here, the third one over. Okay, in the bass clef. We all love the bass clef. No crying about the bass clef, you guys. Then a G7 chord. Okay, so first off, G7 tells me that I need major triad and a minor seventh. That's what I'm going to have to create. Okay, so we have a major triad here, like they've already given us the major triad properly. Okay, we need the interval of a minor seventh. Well, the seventh, of course, is going to be an F, right? But what kind of F do we need? Your thought process should be, what's in my key signature? My key signature has F sharp in it. Okay, my interval has to be a minor seventh. So I need to lower an F sharp. So I need to make it natural. And that's how I get a minor seventh. Okay. Now, if all of that is easy for you, you know that G has F sharp and all that kind of stuff. That's great. You can just throw in your F natural, and you don't technically need that natural sign. Okay. So that's one way to do it. You can approach G7 by knowing my key signature has F sharp. I need to lower that F sharp to a natural so I can do all that. The other way with seventh chords is you can actually just think of it as the dominant chord. Okay, what kind of seventh do I need? Well, I need the seventh. I need the kind of F that fits within the key signature of the key of C major. Okay, so G7 means dominant seventh. If that's my dominant note, what's my root note? 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I need to build a snowman using all the notes that fit within the key of C major. C major, of course, has all natural notes, so you need F natural. If that works for you in terms of approach for dominant chords, great. Otherwise, keep going with the thought process of I need a major triad here and I need a minor seventh there. Okay, either way certainly works. Circle the dominant seventh chords below. So in other words, circle the chords that have a major triad and a minor seventh. All right, that should be pretty, you can investigate those triads, you can figure them out. Construct the following chords on these different roots, these different bottoms, okay? Working in treble clef, working in bass clef. Let me pick one. I don't know, let's go with, let's say, well, we did G already. A major 7, right in here. Okay. A major 7 chord needs a major triad and a major 7th. So we're building it on A, so of course we need this guy. We need this guy, and that guy. Okay, we need all 4 of those notes. Your snowman is just one circle higher, basically, than your basic triad. Now, A major 7, we need to turn this into a major triad, which means we follow the key signature of A major. Let me put my little cheat sheet key signature here. I know that I have 3 sharps in A major, so I need to have a sharp sign on the C. That gives me a major triad. Okay, we need a major interval, a major 7th here. All right, what kind of G's do we need in the key of A major? Well, our key signature tells us we need G sharps. All right, so now by using the key signature, I know that I needed to have a C sharp and a G sharp to create my major 7th triad, my major 7th chord. All right, there you go, guys. There's your lesson on 7th chords. Hopefully it makes sense. Major 7ths, minor 7ths, dominant 7ths, and we'll carry on from there. Thanks so much. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.